I was born in Houston in '66, and so I've got a bunch of history with the Astrodome my whole childhood. But it would bum me out just going by there. It was such a magical place in my youth, and I've been trying to. It's been fun too, really, lately since the film came out, trying to explain and going back and trying to explain to people what a magical place that was and how it was. To me, it felt different than other big sports venues do now, and it just had this odd kind of community center vibe to it, and so that was the basis of it. Was just it was bumming me out driving by there and having it look decrepit and stuff, in the way that it is in my mind, and with my music is all about kind of idealizing things in the past, really. So I moved away when I was young, but my aunt still lived there, and we'd go back, and I saw a million Astros games and demolition derbies and everything else there, and high school football, just all kinds of stuff there. I said, man, I have this idea for a country song about this old boy whose life didn't turn out the way he wanted it to, but he doesn't know what to do, so he says he's just going to go down and sit in the Astrodome, and both of them are going to, whatever happens, happens, you know. There's the story of the song, which to me is completely different than the stories in the video. There's the story of the song that the song tells, and then there's the story that the animator did, which is the story of this young boy who, whatever happens. And then there's the story of all the people and all these generations that went to the Astrodome and all the stuff that happened. And so to me, all three of those stories are happening at the same time in this film. And so I just love it, man. I'm not claiming ownership of all of it, because there were so many really cool people that made it happen, but that's what I think. I don't know anything else that's like that. There's three completely different stories, and because it's music, you can kind of process all of them at the same time. It's cool. And so it's been this process where me and Jack wrote the song, but like with the film, there was a lot of other people involved, and a bigger thing that came together, and now I just can't believe it. I think it's the coolest thing. I mean, sometimes it makes me tear up, and it really does, it really kind of captures, for me, just I just remember good times in there, man. I mean, and it was, to see the thing go off up there was just the most magical thing. And nostalgia. It's so nostalgia, but yeah, so it was great. And then we put it out, and then we've got to hear back from tons of people, and there are people who have discovered that there's a couple of clips that aren't even from the Astrodome in there. It's like the Alamo Dome or something like that, and somebody's like, oh, Carlos Correa would have been 5 years old, and so I'm happy for that too, you know, even for them to find some ridiculous stuff, you know, that doesn't fit. The whole thing has just been a blast, you know. Well, I kind of, Charlie and I both started playing music with just no other plans, really. We stopped playing, we're done with sports, you know. I mean, we didn't, you know, it wasn't working. I was a good high school player, but then I ended up in Division I, but I knew that this was like, man, I'm not good enough to play it, and I got hurt, and so, you know, we moved to Austin and joined bands and stuff, but I just grabbed on to being a songwriter. I thought I was good at it, and I really enjoyed it, and so it took me 10 years before when I started writing songs and making any money at it, but I just loved it. And so I started going to Nashville and sleeping on couches and meeting people, and then over time, I got a publishing deal, and then I guess the first one was Tim McGraw and Faith Hill recorded a song of mine, Anger All the Time, and then Straight recorded a couple, and the Chicks, and a bunch of other people did, Garth Brooks, Leanne Womack, Gary Allan, tons of people did. So I was just so fortunate, and loved doing it. Country music changed a lot now, and I haven't got any cuts in a while, but it was a magical thing, you know, and I still love writing songs, and man, that Astrodome is a really good example of that, where having that idea, which felt fresh to me, you know, and now I've been loving playing it, and it's going over really well in the shows. And so that writing songs is just such a creative thing and such a immediate thing. There'll be you know, people out there that want to come and hear music tonight. It's just the greatest job, you know. I mean, I can't be an athlete, so to me it's like the next best thing, you know, to going out there and freaking Game 7, you know.